4-5s. Let's give some fire in the chat for that Mogul Lifestyle Weekend video. And you guys can be a part of the next Mogul Lifestyle Weekend event, or the next event that we have coming up, which is Cruising with the Bean. So if you haven't already reserved your cabin on the cruise ship for July 2024, definitely reach out to the person that referred you to this video so they can get you all the details and the information.
Recording in progress.
So for those of you just now jumping on, I want to officially welcome you to the Foresight Business Academy, where we know you're rich before you do. This is the Millionaire Mindset Call. This call happens every single Monday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, without fail. So this is where you want to be, and where you want to make sure all of your fellow investors are, everyone that you have a part of your life that really is looking to go to that next level with their lifestyle and their income. This is where you guys want to be. So again, my name is Carly Gwynn, chiming in tonight from Orlando, Florida. I am not your speaker, but I do have the honor and privilege of being your host tonight and welcoming you to the call. So if you are just now jumping on, we literally have a few moments before we get started. Go ahead and let me know your name and where you're chiming in from so I can welcome you to the call. I see we have Tim Lambert chiming in from Dallas, Texas. We have Leslie chiming in from South Carolina. Carlotta on the line tonight. Alonzo on the line tonight. Shirley on the line tonight. We have Leroy on the line tonight. We have Jeremy on the line tonight. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Dale on the line tonight. Joe Cohen on the line tonight. Welcome. All right, we have Earl on the line tonight, chiming in from Montreal. Welcome to the line tonight. Again, we literally have a moment or two before we get started, so make sure you're in a quiet place. Make sure you have your journals and your pens ready. You're definitely going to want to take some notes, and make sure you have your energy ready to receive everything that's going to be shared with us on the call tonight, right? That's the most important thing that you can bring to the call, is your energy, your mindset. Make sure your mind and your ears and your focus is tuned into the call, right? So that way you don't miss anything that's going to be shared. That way you're intentional when you're on the line tonight, because that's really how you're going to have the most transformation. That's really how you're going to really be able to maximize the opportunity that you have to be a part of this call, and everything that you can take from it to really grow your business and your bank account, right? But also grow, most importantly, who you are as a person, who you are as a leader, how you show up in your day-to-day life with the people that you're around and that are a part of your life, right? So again, my name is Carly Gwynn, chiming in from Orlando, Florida. I see we have Diane on the line tonight. Welcome to the call. Elliot on the line tonight. Welcome to the call. Victor on the line tonight. Welcome to the call. We are live on Zoom as well as on Facebook Live in our private Facebook group, and also broadcasting on YouTube Live. So definitely make sure that everyone that you have a part of your investment club, everyone that you have invited to the call tonight is on the line and ready to go, okay? So it is time for me to step out of the way of greatness. The gentleman I have the honor and privilege of introducing to you guys, he's created millions of dollars investing, but more importantly, he has created the business model that you're a part of, which is filled with opportunities that have made millions of dollars for others. Everything from short to long-term investments, commodities, and masterclasses for wealth creation. One of the most recent investments that he's introduced to his investment club of over 3,000 investors produced $23 million in revenue in just 12 months. He himself turned a $10,000 investment into over $344,000 in that same 12-month time span. He has a goal to help 10,000 families generate $5,000 per month in residual income. And what I love most about this gentleman is he's the definition of integrity and character. And he's one of the only people that's ever been and done every single thing that he ever committed to me that he would be or do. So please give me some hearts, give me some fire, give me some 4-5s in the chat. Help me welcome to the line, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, also known as the People's Champ, Mr. Samuel Bean.
There we go. There we go. How we doing, Carly?
Amazing, sir. How about yourself?
I'm fantastic. I appreciate you doing your thing. I tell you, I don't know what I would do without you. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, if you could return those 4-5s back to Mrs. Carly Gwynn, please. Doing her thing, just always a servant leader, guys. And and I can't wait to talk about, the topic we're going to talk about tonight and dive into it. But you talk about brands, and she has a brand that sticks out in a really good way. She's a servant leader, and I can just tell you it's one of the first things that people see and think about when they hear her name. And so we're going to talk about, your brand and everything else in between, and how to get to a seven-figure brand at some point in time tonight. But definitely want to make sure that I say welcome to each and every last one of you guys, especially our brand new people. Ladies and gentlemen, give us 4 or 5s for our brand new people who are first timers on here tonight. Let them see the love. Let them see that the community cares. Also, for those of you who are driving, again, this is going to be on replay, so don't try to take notes and move around. We don't want anybody getting into any accidents. But what I would suggest that each and every last one of you guys do for each and every last one of these events, this event in particular, and also on Saturday mornings, crash camps, is try to put yourself in a position where you book everything you have to do around those events. Okay, you don't want to miss the information, and I can just tell you, you don't want to miss the information if you're here to be a 7-figure earner. They call it the millionaire mindset for a reason, and you can't be distracted on the way to 7 figures. Okay, and so if you agree with that, you can't be distracted on the way to 7 figures. Can I get some ones in the chat, please? I want to make sure we get this thing warmed up. Get your Twitter fingers going and get your Facebook fingers going. There you go. That's the ones. So some people understand. Okay. Again, you just want to be on purpose. You want to be, in attendance. You want to be present, when it comes to you and what you have to do. But also for those of you who don't know, if it's your first time, definitely want to say welcome to the family. And the foresight, basically, guys, foresight it just means vision. And we have a saying that we know that you're rich before you do. Right. And for me, you look at our what I would say our mantra is, our one of our goals, and who we are is Project Pride, PRIDE. That's producing residual income in a down economy. And it's something that we believe in. It's something we've been doing for decades now. Okay. And so that's important to us, period, because people always need passive residual recurring income, especially people who want to take the rest of their life off, or, put themselves in a position where they can work or do business, on their own terms, as opposed to, having to do something for $1. Okay. And so that's important to us. Lifestyle is very, very important to us. Okay. The last thing is this, what we call our definition of purpose. This is our agenda for the next 2 years. That's Project 10,000. That's where we actually help 10,000 families get to $5,000 a month of residual recurring income. And that's huge, again, because you're looking at just here in the US, the average income is about 40 grand per year. Let's just say 45 if they're doing good, on average. But if you have a person who's making $5,000 a month extra, right? They're doing one or two things. They either quitting their job, or what they're doing is they're stacking as much money as they can, but they're going to work because they want to, not because they have to. They're putting their kids in college. They're taking vacations and trips. They're paying off debts and liquidating things. They're taking that money, and they're also helping the bottom line on existing companies that they run and own. It's just a lot of different. You have more money coming in, okay? And so I just believe that there are not enough people out there trying to help people get to their goals, at least the right way. And so that's what we're here for. And so that's big for us. So also want to make sure Carly touched on it, again, with Cruising with the Beans, that's coming around July 25th. It'll be here before you know it, but those rooms and cabins will be gone before you know it. So let's make sure you do your thing and get in one of those cabins. Okay, love to see you guys out there and let our hair down with you guys and have a good time with you and your families. Also, when it comes to SCF, where we're at right now, guys, we're still waiting on the 15th of November. And I know they moved the goalposts, and when it comes to the announcement, but that's going to be very, very important. It's going to tell us a whole lot about what we need to do going forward. So I know I got a couple of text messages early today, and I want to make sure you guys know that I'm waiting just like you are, and I'm excited to hear what they have to say. And I'm excited because I get a chance to know what direction I'm going in. Okay? And so that's why I'm excited, because I don't like being in a holding pattern for nobody. Okay. at this point, what I told you guys last week, we were going to launch two companies. That may be down to one now, because again, the more and more thorough we look into different things, the more things that I'm finding that I'm going to talk to the leaders about. As a matter of fact, we have a leadership call tonight that we're going to be discussing one of the latest opportunities that we were going to introduce to the team. And so I'm going to get with them tonight, and we're going to have a conversation about that immediately after that. So the night's call won't be a long call. It'll definitely be some a call that you get some information out of and some value out of. And that's important. And also, as far as our speaker for tonight will not be on. He has some things that come up, and life happens to us all. And so, but he has guaranteed me and assured me that we will get him, very, very soon. So, but that's very, very important, because I want to make sure you guys are hearing from the best people who are very educated at what this industry has to offer, this space has to offer. And anytime I have someone who can articulate it on a level, that I can't, I want to make sure, that I put myself in a learning seat and put that person in the driver's seat, so that person can really get you guys where you need to go. So I want to give you guys that bit of information. And so for those of you who are here for updates or looking to hear about other companies, what have you, that's not going to happen tonight. So again, if you want to drop off. But for those of you who are here and you really want to learn how to build a 7-figure brand, and this is the training that I was going to do 2 weeks from now. But again, since we're not going to have our speaker today, I'm going to go ahead and just go over some things. And when you look, and this is one thing I do want you guys to participate in. This is something that I really want you guys to give me some answers. I want you guys to fire them back at me, like rapid fire. So whether you're on Facebook or whether you're on, Zoom, I do want some interaction, because that's when you get the most out of, the most out of the trainings and the events. Okay. And so when you look at your brands, guys, I just believe that everybody has a brand. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter whether you're successful or unsuccessful. Brands, just because you have a brand, doesn't mean it's a great brand. Just doesn't mean it's a profitable brand. Doesn't mean it's a world recognizable brand, but it's your brand. And your brand, guys, to people starts with what they think about when they hear your name. Okay. And so this is the thing you want to think about right now. So ask yourself, and I want you to start writing, ask yourself, because this is some of the things that some of you may not want to put out here, because one thing about it, when you ask yourself a question, you're going to give yourself an answer. If you're honest with yourself, most of the time, you don't even want to put that answer out there, because it's not the one that you want everybody to know about you, because it may diminish your brand. But newsflash, 9 times out of 10, they already know it about you. Okay. But I want you to know it about you, because some of us, a lot of us are moving unconsciously. Like we really have zero idea what's going on and why we can't be successful, or why we haven't been successful. Let me change that, because you can be successful. It just depends on, the moves that you make, the decisions that you make. So ask yourself this: based on me and my life and what people know about me, what is my brand? What is the first thing that they think about when they think about me? Good, bad, or otherwise. Okay. Good, bad, otherwise. What do we think about me? Okay. Is my brand somebody who's honest, somebody who has integrity, somebody who backslides, somebody who steals, somebody who poaches, somebody who disrespects, somebody who edifies, somebody who supports, somebody who, somebody who encourages, somebody who, is impactful. What is your personal brand? Write that down, because this is where, you're going to begin your processing. Okay. And so when you look at, the mall has that little sign, that map, where the mall says you are here, and every other store out there you can find based on a number and the directory, but you wouldn't know how to get there. You'd be lost if you didn't know where you were starting from. So if you have a $30,000 per year brand, okay, you can't get to a 7-figure per year brand, or a 7-figure per month brand, or a 7-figure per day brand, if you don't know that you're at a $30,000 per year brand. Okay. Now ask yourself, how much money do you make a year? Okay. Write that down. How much income do you have coming into your household because of you per year? Okay. My job pays me this. Green pays me this. SCF paid me this. This is how much money did I make, even in the things that you made money in that you don't participate in anymore. How much money did you make in 2021 or 2022 last year? How much money are you making up to this point? But how much money do you make a year? Okay. And some of you guys can really see that your brand is growing because you can see your income growing significantly. And when you see huge jumps and spikes in income and things like that, guys, it means that something's happening and you have a lot to do with it. Okay. When you see huge losses, guys, again, it has nothing to do with a company. That means you have something to do with it. Okay. And so ask yourself, how much, income do I actually create on an annual basis? Okay. And the question that you're going to have to ask yourself is, who do I need to become to get to the income that I really want to be at? And write that income down. What's my income goal annually, monthly, right? And who do I need to become? Because this is where you become your own PR firm, right? This is where you start, working on the damage control, and this is where you become, the Olivia Pope of your life, right? This is where you go out here and you make things happen. You start to fix stuff, right? And you start to get stuff going in the right direction, right? Looking at the things who do I need to become? Okay. And so when I look at the brands, you guys, just like the quote that I have on top of my page, it says, you're either going to build a personal brand on purpose or you're going to build a personal brand by neglect. Okay. If you're not purpose on building your brand, guys, and increasing your value, it's going to be the exact opposite. It's going to be negative. It's going to go in a different direction based on neglect. Okay. So that's a little quote that you might want to write down. But when you look at your past and some of the answers, because me personally, I'm really honest with myself, brutally honest with myself. And when I ask myself questions like that, that's why sometimes I refrain from asking myself questions because I know I'm gonna give myself the answer because I'm not perfect. I'm the farthest thing from it. But it's because I'm not ready to work on myself. And I'm just being honest with you guys. I know I have a brand, and it ranges from, anywhere from encouraging, successful, builder, leader, millionaire, all the way down to unhealthy. I have an unhealthy brand, right? I'm overweight, right? And so that's a part of my brand, right? And so when you look at, nobody's perfect. So again, don't try to impress yourself. The people who try to impress yourself in this situation, you'll have the least increase. You'll have the least impact. Yeah, this is where you be brutally honest with yourself and don't blame it on age, the gender, this is where you take ownership. This is where you take responsibility. This is where you say, you know what? If I am going to be a millionaire, I have to stop acting like a thousandaire. I have to stop behaving like somebody who makes $30,000 a year, and have to start behaving like somebody who makes $1 million a year. You have to walk into the million before you actually get it. Okay. So a brand, when you look at who do you know who's a 7-figure person, who has a 7-figure brand, Mrs. Bean and I excluded. Well, you don't have to exclude us. But I'm just a lot of people. You guys have been in industries where you have multiple 7 figures, and just look all around the industry and look at people who you respect and look at what their brand, it really is. If they're couples, right? How do they behave as couples? How does he treat his wife in public? How does she treat her husband in public? How do they treat their kids in public? Right? How do they work together? If they're couples. If they're leaders, you're looking at, how many people have they built into leadership positions? How many top earners have they created? That's a brand. Okay. Do they win in everything they might be the only person winning, but do they win in everything that they do? They're making 7 figures in trading, they're making 7 figures in building, they're making 7 figures, whatever it is, their own ideas, their own companies, their own creations. Again, look at that individual. Okay. And so you look at all these 7-figure people, look at all the habits that they have. Look at the character traits, look at the work ethics, look at the dedication, look at the disciplines, look at all those things, because those things are going to be, your accountability checklists. You know what I'm saying? So hey, okay, compared to this individual, you're not comparing yourself to the person, you're comparing yourself to that 7-figure activity that they do, or the 7-figure character, or the 7-figure, whatever it is that got them to the 7-figure. You're not comparing yourself to them, but what you're comparing your situation to theirs from, okay, am I really dedicated? Am I really committed? Is being having a 7-figure brand and making 7 figures a year really important to me? And it's okay if it's not. But it's okay to also make $500,000 a year with a $1 million mindset. Because at any given time, guys, your financial thermostat is up here. If you're making it down here, it's because that's where you're comfortable being at. That means that you are not worth $1 million. It just means that you're only applying enough for you to make $500,000, and that's fine. $250,000, that's fine. You know where you're happy at, but never ever stop building your brand. There are companies that are front loaded with value and brand and increasing their brand. And so anytime they get ready to do somebody has a great idea and they say, you know what, we want to create a multi-sided platform, and we want to go out here and partner with somebody and merge with somebody, and we want to go out here and we're going to build something big. They're always going to pick the people with the biggest and most solid and almost impenetrable brands. Not somebody with a new brand, somebody who has been an existing brand for a long time. That's where people invest their money. That's what people partner with. Think about how many times you've actually heard of an idea and you didn't actually partner with that person because that person has an unsuccessful brand. That person, you didn't join that company because that person has a brand of a quitter, or that person has a brand of a person who doesn't apply themselves. A brand of a person who doesn't train, who doesn't, go to events. This person has a brand of just recruiting people for the money and not being there for that person. And anybody ever, recognize people like that you've either joined or didn't join because of that? Because ones it's some, me or ones or something. I just want to kind of make sure I'm talking to the right people. Okay. Because this is the thing. Remember, you're not being judged. You've been branded, and you were the one responsible for your branding. Okay, you were the person who was responsible for your brand. See, when you have a person who's give example, a person who's a 7-figure individual, and you have a 8 or 9-figure opportunity, but you are a $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 person, 9 out of 10 are not going to join you unless you are attached to somebody who has a brand that's bigger than theirs. Why do you think we always, do 3 ways and lifelines, right? 3 ways and lifelines puts your person on the phone with somebody who they have the ability to respect based on you articulating that person's brand, part of that person's brand. If I had somebody to talk about this business too, and I said, you know what, give me 1 second, let me put my sponsor on the phone, and I put Forrest on the phone, or I put Joe Cohen on the phone, or I put Dale Boudreaux. It don't matter who I put on the phone. I am going to highlight that person's brand. I am going to edify that person and put that person in a position where they can work for me, because I know the person who I'm recruiting is of value and probably has more value to me, if not equal, but more. And I need the best representation possible when my brand is not strong enough. Okay? Brand is not strong enough. But I'm honest with myself. Okay. And so that's why I've been able to increase my brand. But let's go over a couple of things, right? So when you think about this for a second, you have, let me see here. think about the stories. Think about the people who you respect. Most of y'all have, if not all of y'all, have some sort of network marketing background, right? And when you got into that company, who did you respect the most? The person who sponsored you, or the upline, or the person who you saw on the stage that had the highest rank on the company, you know, and the owner of the company? Who all did you respect? Who did you respect the least? Not who you like the least, not who you love the least. Who did you not respect the least? We're talking about based on accomplishment, based on personality, character, based all that stuff that's in your upline. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate the honesty. It's always the sponsor. It's you respect the least. The sponsor was the person you respect the least for the most part, because that person brought you the idea, right? And that person hadn't made enough money at all for you to respect. It's an honest answer. It's a logical answer too. It's the person who did the three-way, the person who did the presentation, the person who does the training, the person who's in front of the corporate events, the owner of the company. And when you see these people, you wanted to take photos with them, you wanted to get autographed with them, you wanted to have them sign your magazines and autograph books and stuff like that. That's because those people had a brand. And the community built the brand, right? As far as that person by edifying. But that person did the work to be edified. Okay? So a lot of this stuff that we're talking about, guys, is going to be relatable. It's going to parallel a lot of places in our life. When you think about everywhere you work or everywhere you do business, at the companies that you own, you look at, you know, all type of industries out there, there are brands. NFL, just because a person is in the NFL, that means they have a great brand. It just means that, you know, that person's in the NFL. But you got great brands in NFL. You have great, you know, you have bad brands. NFL, you have great brands at your companies that you work for, great brands at the company that you own. As a matter of fact, you're probably the person who has, if you own the company, you probably have the biggest brand in the company. And people probably respect you more than they respect anybody else, unless you're a bad owner. Okay. Because a person can be respected on a lower level than a person on a higher level based on their brand. All right. If you're a pastor, pastors normally have great brands until somebody gets some dirt on one. And then the brand is tarnished, right? Just an example. You want to make sure, guys, that when you look at this industry that you're in right now, what do you look at the people who are very, very successful? You know, when you look at them and look at their brands like 𝐭𝐲𝐬, you have a respect for 𝐭𝐲𝐬 on a certain level of, if you were a crypto person, because of his knowledge, how he articulates it, you know, the fact that he was at 15, almost $20,000 a month, a day at one point in time. There are a lot of things about his brand that you respect. And then some things that you probably don't appreciate. Okay. Same thing with me. And one thing about it, guys, is this: there's not one of you that's going to be loved by everybody. There's not one of you going to be appreciated by everybody. And matter of fact, the bigger your brand is, the more people you'll have, you know, as they call them haters, the more haters you'll have. Okay? But you'll always have way more fanatics, you know, people endorsing you and encouraging people to follow you than you will those haters. Okay. So when you look at, and I ask you guys how much you make a year, and how much, and that's the thing you want to make sure you ask yourself: what is my time valued at when it comes to my brand? If I was to sell my time per hour right now, what would I get for it? Okay. And so what you do is you take all the income you've made for the year, okay, so far, and then you would divide it up by the months, and then you would divide it up, well, you would divide it up to where you get 40 hours a week, basically. You would take that total amount of money, you would divide it by the amount of months it is, then how many weeks it is, and then divided by 40 hours a week. And then that number that you end up with is going to be the value in certain situations. Okay. Then you have some people who do one event and they make $200,000-300,000 in one event, and they can charge $40,000 an hour because they made $200,000-300,000 in an event where they spoke at for 2 or 3 hours. Right. They can charge $25,000, $35,000, $45,000 an hour based on again, their value to the market. And so you can come across your value in many different ways, but you got to ask yourself, what is my value? Okay? And then how do I increase it? Okay. Another example, when you look at a person, say, I just want to make $100,000 a year. Okay. They have $100,000 a year. That's their goal. And then they end up one day making $100,000 a month, $100,000 a month, or $100,000 a day. If you make $100,000 a month, what do? You can take the rest of the months off. You can take the other 11 months off and do whatever you want to do. If that's all you wanted to make, and spend it with your friends, your family, and everybody else. It doesn't have to be work related. Right? But you got to get something in place where you can get to $100,000 a month. So you have that option. Okay. Not just a month, but in a month. Okay. So that's important. So when you look at the value for your time, we talked about, and what are some of the things that contribute to the foundation of your brand, guys, and the makeup of your brand. One in this situation is your resume. Because moving from one company to another, or adding one company, to the portfolio, getting ready to relaunch, your resume is very, very important. Okay. And the last company, like Carly gave a resume that I did from when we were back in Novatech. Okay. And that was a part of my resume. And so that part of my resume, again, gave people even more confidence in me coming into, FinTalk. We make way more money in FinTalk because we had way more people with resumes coming on board. Not just my resume, but way more people with better resumes. All of y'all told people what y'all did in Novatech. And that helped people come on board in FinTalk. Is that true or is that not? Okay. So when you look at that resume, I've helped so many people, XYZ amount of people, make XYZ amount of money, or become free, or become millionaires, or, whatever it is that you did, get to $1,000 a week, $1,000 a day, $1,000 a month, whatever it is, whatever you did, that was a part of your resume. Okay. And you want to continue to build on it. But that's a part of it. It's kind of like when you look at a person, when you are on a dating scene, first thing you recognize, from a guy or a gal is how they look. Okay. Exterior. Right. And so the superficial part, there has to be an attraction. And so there has to be value when it comes to business. What's your resume? Who else have you helped besides you? Okay. Who else have you put in a position to win, pay off bills, buy a new car, whatever it is? Who else besides you? What's on your resume? Okay. Another thing is your character. That's a part of the resume. And so when people look at characters, like, okay, do you have integrity? Do you, are you a committed individual? So when you do something, you're committed to it. Are you a professional? Do you do everything above board? Are you reliable? Are you a humble person? Are you disciplined, et cetera? Or, are you one of those people who are agenda-based individuals where, you got an agenda, you're going to get on the call, or you're going to get on the train, or you're going to support, or you're going to do whatever you need to do until you get your agenda done. And then when the system or the people can no longer serve you, you exit the building. Character. Do people have to worry about you, when it comes to stealing their people or poaching their people? Do people have to worry about you, starting stuff that you don't finish, not keeping promises, not being able to support a person after you enroll a person, not being able to go out there, and are you not even applying yourself so you can teach the person how to make money, right? Character stuff, right? Okay. Public opinion. I talked about it earlier. What do people see or hear or think when they see your name? Not going to go over that again, but habits. Not just the habits you know about, but the habits people know about. Okay. Appearance. So your brand is an appearance. Like, you have some people who are sloppy. You have some people who are nice and tidy. You have some people who, are elegant, extravagant. You got some people who, are well-groomed. What is your brand when it comes to, your appearance? Okay. Work ethic. People skills. How are you with people? Period. People see that people, they talk, people hear, people see, and they want to know, okay, hey, look, if I'm gonna do this with this person, I need to know that this person is somebody I can come to, talk to, somebody who's going to understand, somebody's going to work it out, somebody who's going to, help me come up with a solution. Somebody's going to work with me and my people. It's not going to be a lot of friction based on that person's personality or character. Character is important. People skills is important. Level of leadership, and we talked about that a second ago, but do you develop leaders, right? Do you build people? Your resume, again, people owe you help with money, but also they want to see that you're growing. That person who's looking at you, they should be able to tell, hey, I've been on this guy for 10 years, 15 years, 25 years, 2 years. It doesn't matter. They should be seeing you in the process of growth, if it's just a little bit of time, or they should be able to walk up and recognize that you're not the same guy or gal. That's a part of your brand. If you're always evolving and always growing, it means that you can inspire people to do the same exact thing. Okay. I talk about some of the things that can kill or devalue your brand, guys. Anything that's negative regarding the things that I just mentioned above. If you take all that stuff that I talked about and just think about anything and everything negative that you can add to each one of those things, from the resume, by not having anybody on the resume, character, by having all those bad flaws I talked about, bad habits, showing up late, not being on calls, not keeping your word, appearance, sloppy, work ethic, again, person doesn't put any work in at all, calendar sucks, people skills, you're horrible with people. That's the stuff that kills your brand. And this is the thing, most people don't think about this until they have to. So when you look at a conscious interrupt, guys, a conscious interrupt, again, is when now what's been happening beneath the surface bubbles up, and now you get to see it because we're talking about it. You get to see it because you get a chance to reflect on it. And you may not be doing 90% of the stuff, but 5 to 10% of the stuff I just mentioned can kill your brain. Right? 5 to 10% of the stuff can put you in a position where you stay having to be gainfully employed because nobody will trust you enough to do business with you. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense, guys. But that's important. Let's see here. One of the things that I used, and I learned this a long time ago, Jim Rohn, he was just, this is one of my third-party mastermind mentors, somebody I really did appreciate his teachings. And he talked about, and this is just echoed, by Myron, and he was talking about how do you get better, and he was talking about set out with great intentions. And for me, and the intentions things, guys, you don't get paid on your intentions, right? And the path to hell is paved on good, like I said, the road to hell is paved on good intentions. I'd rather say purpose. And so when I wrote it down in my journal years ago, it was basically set out on purpose. Okay, an example, it says, I'm not good at talking, right? And how many of you guys believe that you're not great at presenting? You don't really like presenting because you're not great at it. You don't like training because you're not great at it. Anybody willing to be transparent? Me, one. Just whatever you raise your hand, it don't matter, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Right. And this is the thing, is that when you says that I am not good at talking, it's because you don't talk enough. Okay. It's anytime you want to get better at something, you have to do more of that thing. Right. And so for me, I made it my purpose, and like I said, because of coaching. And when I heard two things. One, I heard give me 1 second, guys. I got somebody's mic is hot. All right. So back in the day when I first got in network marketing, y'all know my story. My appearance, it was a bad brand for business. Polo boots, starched down jeans, creased in the front, college t-shirts, college ball caps, gold necklace, gold tooth, rings on every finger, Cadillac, Fleetwood skirts, Epic and Vogues. It's just everything about me. From that, what I thought was cool, it said bad for business. Okay. So I had to have people literally take me shopping, buy suits, buy shoes, buy shirts, get monograms on them, all this other stuff. I had to, again, rebuild my image because my image is my brand. That's a part of my brand. That's not who I am, but it's what people are going to judge you off of initially. If you look at me in jeans, polo boots, or Jordans, T-shirt, college ball cap, whatever, and I'm and a gold tooth in my mouth, and I'm talking to you about a seven-figure opportunity. And I just want you to be honest. How many of y'all would be leery about doing business with me if you didn't know me? Thank you. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. I changed for a reason. All right, I evolved for a reason. And honestly, I wouldn't. Okay, that's just how real it is. Okay? And so that part of me had to change. That part of me had to evolve. The gold teeth had to come out. Matter of fact, since then, I had my whole entire smile worked on purpose because it's the first thing that people see. When you're talking to somebody, they can't help but see your teeth. And so it's an investment, right? Also, when it comes to me communicating, I already know that if a person can't understand what I am saying, then that's already a done deal. That's already a lost cause. I'm killing business. And so I had to recondition my whole entire conversation. The way I speak, I had to learn how to talk again. I literally had to learn how to talk again. Every sentence was a run-on sentence. I had no exclamation. I had no punctuation in my sentences, and I had a lot of isms and all kind of different things. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's a lot of things that when it comes to communication, it was horrible communication. Okay? But I had to learn. It's like having an accident and you hurt your leg and you have to learn how to walk again. It took some time, but it's worth it, right? It's definitely worth it. So I'm kind of giving you guys again that part of my brand where I was teased as an adult about how I talk. So, you know what I'm saying? It just literally had to go. It had to change. And then I thought about all the people who I was representing. So I had to change for them. Then all the people who I wanted to attract, I had to change for them. I had to evolve for them. I had to create another brand for them so they can trust that I would be able to communicate with high level individuals. Right? That's a part of the brand. Okay? And so when it came to presenting, and working on my stage fright again, from the audience to the front of the stage. When your people are looking at you and they see that you're not participating, they see that you are not leading, they see that you're not speaking, training, presenting in that forum, in those platforms, that's your brand. And now what happens is you have your team looking at people on other people's team as somebody who can represent them, somebody who they want to get a trade for. Hey, let me see if I can switch teams. Let me see if I can go to, I want to be represented by that person. I want to be led by that person because that person's brand is stronger. That person's always in front of the room. That person's always training, always teaching, always supporting, right? So I had to get out of the seats and I'd leave my fear in the seats and get to the stage. And I was on a stage speaking bad, but I was on stage speaking bad, getting better, right? Because the more and more I spoke, the better and better I got. Okay? The more and more I spoke, the more and more I evolved, right? But I also knew that going up there speaking, I had to make sure that my content continued to improve. So this is what you want to write down. Read more, okay? Read more, listen more, write more, attend more, practice more, ask more, apply more, and speak more. It's impossible for you not to build a seven-figure brand over time if you do these things. Because those are all the things that Jim Rohn basically said. But that's not all of them. I added a couple more in there. But basically the bottom line, he said, read more, write more, and speak more. The other things I added in there because I know that they're important, that they're extremely important. Okay. And one thing I did left out, I left out because these are old notes, is educate yourself more. It's far too much it's far too many people who want to be dependents in business. Okay. It's guys, it don't cost you anything to learn about what you're doing, but it can cost you everything. It can cost you recruiting some huge people. Think about how much more impressed it was for me when I listened to Barb, at a party, with family and friends. Wasn't a part of a conversation, but their conversation triggered something that she was just getting familiar with, and she was able to speak on it. And I loved hearing that. And this story, she said this story some time ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it's still fresh on my spirit because that's what this is all about. Educate people who educate yourself and put yourself in a position to be of service. You make the most money. I mean, the more and more questions that you can answer, the more and more money you can actually make. So the question would be, why won't you educate yourself to have a brand that says this person is, really, really educated, this person can be of service? You can't serve anybody, guys, just by pawning people off. Like, what if Barb said, you know what, I don't know what y'all talking about, but let me get my leader Forrest on the phone real quick, and I'm gonna have him put him on speakerphone and talk to all y'all real quick. That's not gonna fly well. That's not gonna sit well at all. As a matter of fact, they'll be like, Barb, don't worry about it. We good. But she was able to have a conversation, and it could have been a limited conversation, right? But she got some people's attention, and then they now know that she's not the Barb that we grew up with. Barb is now in cryptocurrency. Barb's on the blockchain. Barb's in the future. And you know what? We might need to be talking to Barb about some things. It's just as simple as that, guys. Read more, listen more, write more, attend more, practice more, ask more, apply more, speak more, educate more. And it's impossible for you not to become more influential. Impossible. And this is the thing, when you look at me, again, over time, just reflecting, I have attended more seminars and trainings than most people. I've listened to more personal development and information on the industries that I participate in. I've actually read more, applied more of the information that I've learned, spoke more at trainings and presentations than most of the people in my space, which is why I am a lot more respected. I earn a lot more than most people in this space, and I do it with a lot less effort. It's guys, I'm just telling you this, your rewards will come if you build your brand. Right? Your rewards will come if you go out here and you forget the company. It's never going to be about the company. Okay? It's going to be about you, and you're the only entity that matters. Companies change, right? You will change companies all the time. Okay? But you should always be changing, just like you change your companies. You should always be evolving. You should always be growing. I love hearing stuff like "Here We Grow Again" and stuff like that. Those are the catchy things that, for me, I love, and I just grab it and I gravitate to it because that's who I am, right? When you actually increase, you say, okay, well, we talk about financial thermostats and we talk about brands. Let's just say you have you have a $50,000 brand, okay? And you go back to the list of things that impact your brand, like your resume. So, okay, I recruit twice as many people as I recruited in the last situation. That's on my resume. Okay. So now not only is it on my resume where I can tell some people, I'm also making more money because I have more people. Okay. I go out there and start doing some actual presentations. Right. That's going to increase my brand because, one, now the people who are in my portfolio are going to look at me as a leader because now I'm doing something that they never seen me do before, but I'm also doing something that they don't want to do because they're scared. So I'm increasing my value to my people while I'm increasing my brand. I'm looking more and more like a leader, right? Whatever it is that I'm actually earning, guys, I am now diversifying, and I'm now building a portfolio that I want my people to build, and I'm teaching people by doing. Again, that's another way to build your brand, right? And so how you behave in certain situations. Think about it. If everybody's out here going crazy over anything and everything that's happening in all of these companies, but you're the only person that has a really nice, calm, cool, collected demeanor, what does that say about your brand? Right? People want to gravitate to you because they see it's something different about you, right? And so it's not as hard as people think to increase the brand. You just got to be able to go out there and want to do the work, to do it, to make it happen, right? Let's see here. And so you ask, so why do people buy brands, right? For this reason, people sometimes we look at brands. Why do people buy brands? Why do y'all think that people? I'm gonna ask y'all. Why do y'all think people buy brands, brand name stuff? Period. Give me some answers. Familiar, to impress, prestige, validation, popularity. It's in vogue. Okay. Impress. Okay. To look cool, already established, popular. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. All right. All right. And so when you look at quality, right? Right. So when you look at, here are a couple of reasons why that status, known, right? How it makes them feel. There you go. All right. What everybody else is doing. Okay. 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 See, that's what I'm talking about. So think about yourself. I'm gonna go back to what I was saying, but think about yourself as a brand that everybody wants to be associated with. Like Joe just said, it's because everybody's doing it, everybody wants to do it. Think about yourself as somebody everybody wants to be attached to. What phone y'all have? What phone you have? This is not a versus, by the way. iPhone, Android, okay, Galaxy, okay, okay, okay. iPhone. Now ask yourself, why do you have that brand? Put that in there. Why do you have that brand? FaceTime, okay. Insta, okay, okay, okay. Easy to use, okay. Great photos. FaceTime, okay. All right. But think about it. If nobody was talking about it, right? And Apple didn't have the brand that they had, and it just wasn't even an option, you would have another brand, right? Think about it for a second. And you ask yourself, and this is, when you have people who have luxury cars, ask yourself, why do you drive that car? Why do you wear those clothes? Right? Why is your house that big? Or whatever it is, there are a lot of different reasons why people do different things. Somebody just say BlackBerry? Boy, I tell you, okay. Whew. That was Crackberry back in the day. But I tell you, but it was hard getting me away from my BlackBerry phone. All right, Joe. It had to be Joe. All right, Joe. Yeah, so when you look at the reason why people buy brands, guys, and this is where you should take yourself and say, hey, I need to apply this to me. And how do I make this apply to me? Okay. And not in any order, but they are high quality. Most brands you pay more money for because they spend more in the product and service. Right? More brands you pay more for. Like I was taught, if you buy an expensive pair of shoes, okay, what happens is that pair of shoes will last longer than you buying 3 or 4 pair of cheap shoes. And by the time you buy 3 or 4 pair of cheap shoes that are not as impressive, right? What'll end up happening is you will have already paid for the pair of expensive shoes or high quality shoes, that you bought, that may even have a warranty on them or some type of refurbishing attached to it, right? But they are high quality ratings. A lot of the brands that are out there, guys, they have great ratings. Okay. And so that's huge. They fulfill a need. Most brands, like I said, when you look at the brands, they fulfill a need. Some brands are an investment. And so when you look at, let's say, companies that are out there that are known, for making people money, known for being sound investments, companies that you can actually invest in stock-wise and stuff like that. Again, you'll invest in Apple, Microsoft, you invest in tech. Some of these tech companies have been around for a while. You'll invest in anything and everything that Warren Buffett has his hands on. And so again, Buffett is the brand, or Microsoft is the brand, or whatever that is, that brand is, you will bet on a brand when it comes to investing your money faster than you will an unknown commodity. Okay. Some brands are a part of people's personal identities. Okay. Some brands are a part of some people's personal identities. Okay. Some brands are in line with the values of some people. You have some brands that are out there that they get, for everything you buy, they give something free to a certain charity, or every time you buy something, they donate some money to this charity, or they do something good for the community, right? Or everything you buy is made by recycled products or something where it's something, so it's something that person is tied to that person, or in line with that person's values. Okay. Let's see here. The brands provide a peace of mind. Well-known brands, you can sleep easy knowing, hey, I bought the Infinity instead of buying an Infinity lookalike. And so they know they put more expensive parts in, like a Lexus than they do in a Toyota. They made by the same company, right? But again, they just put better products and more expensive products, parts and stuff like that in the more expensive cars. But when you have more safety features in these more expensive cars, again, it gives you a peace of mind, just as an example. Okay. Brands, they evoke a sense of pride. Okay. As a matter of fact, one I can tell you that's right off the bat, what kind of coffee y'all drink for the most part? Don't say Organo. Don't say Organo. I already know most of y'all gonna say. So if you ain't drinking Organo, what kind of coffee you drinking? Starbucks. I saw McDonald's, Starbucks. Okay. All right. Okay. So Starbucks is a brand, right? And that little logo that's on the cup, the little woman's head, that basically you don't ever cover that up. It's like covering up the Apple logo on your iPad. You don't do that, right? And so put yourself in a position where you think about, put yourself in a position where you're like, okay, a sense of pride. There are some other brands that are out there that evoke a sense of pride. Some brands are convenient. Let's see here. Some brands are great when you look at what parents do. Some parents buy specific brands only for their kids, especially when it comes to like Gerber. To give you an example, Gerber was a brand. They had all kind of baby food and stuff that was coming out, but Gerber, even long after Gerber was y'all still talking about coffee, huh? Okay, Claudia, Maxwell House. Y'all love y'all coffee. Well, I tell you, I started something with that one, but you can go all the way back to whether it be Oshkosh, Baby Gap. You could be Gerber food. It's everything that you can brand for kids. It's a wrap. The toys, when you look at Maytag, all kind of different toy brands, right? They'll rather buy toy brands that have big names and better quality pieces and stuff and components to it than something from the dollar store, Dollar General. Okay, because again, it's they want to please the children. But when you look at brands, it's for a brand that's been around for a long time, it's hard to actually discredit a brand. That's one of the reasons that I'm just telling you that you really do want to, put yourself in a position where you have a long-standing brand. You continue to grow your brand, continue to build your brand, but people understand that once you are branded, it's hard, to discredit one. Yeah, for a human being, it has to be scandal almost, because you'll have people who, again, you have some people who are not necessarily, you have some people who are naive, to people with brands. You have some people who are who refuse to see the truth. And sometimes with people with brands, but you have people who, again, they will fight to protect the brand, even though it's not theirs, but they're associated with it, right? And so that's why it's always hard. But a person has a huge brand, because not only are they protecting their brand and their resume protects their brand, but they have allies protecting the brand as well. All right. So you look at a lot of these stars now, like Beyonce has her brand, and what they call it, the Beehive. All the women fans that just love her, go crazy over. They protect her name. Eminem has the stands. And Eminem's got probably the coldest, group of people ever. Eminem people look like him. When I say they dye their hair, cut their hair, rap like him, it's like I heard a diss back on a rapper the other day, and I swear I thought it was Eminem. But he's got, again, they protect that brand. They're fanatics. And when you actually go out and you support people, you put people in a position where they're winning, they're literally living life for the first time in a long time or on a higher level. People are loyal to that. People will put themselves in harm's way for that. Okay? And so that's how good you want your brand to be. That's how good you want your brand to be. Let me see. There we go. But always provide, also, when you look at another way to impact your brand in a positive manner, always provide more value than what people paid you. Okay, always provide more value than what people paid you, because people always remember that. They refer to that. So it doesn't matter, who it is. If Dr. Arlene George, made me a ton of money, I'm telling everybody about it. She saved me a ton of money, I'm telling everybody about it. And if she did it at not at a discount, but she did it at a great value, telling everybody about it. All right. So when you look at, that's why I always tell you guys, when you look at my brand, when it comes to a leader in this industry, I'm always giving more value than, than I charge. Right now, I'm working pro bono. I'm literally, when you take cases on for free, like when I come on to the Millionaire Mindset call, guys, that's something that I can get paid for. When I'm on the Saturday morning calls, crash camp calls, that's something that I can get paid for, right? All of you have something that you can get paid for that you do for free first, so people can get a chance to experience the value of what you had to offer. And then you come back and charge. The cool thing about this industry is that if you guys really come in here and build your brand, build your resume, build your portfolios, okay? What happens is this: at some point in time, you'll be able to get paid to do, and you hear me talk about this all the time, you can be able to get paid to do seminars, speak on stages, become open, write books, do all kinds of just anything and everything. You can monetize who you become. And this, when you build your community, guys, the people who pay the money for it won't be the people in the community. They may pay a little bit, but they won't pay the price, right? They'll be the ones that get first movers advantage pricing, first mover advantage discounts, first mover advantage favor, because they're going to be the ones out there marketing for you. They're going to be the ones out there encouraging people and referring people and promoting you to people. They're going to be the ones who do the work because you've put so much work in on them. You've invested so much time, energy, and effort in them, resources in them, right? And so for me, this is one of those things that, it's a labor of love, but at the end of the day, I understand what the end result will be. 10,000 people making $5,000 a month, a residual recurring income. And I can't get frustrated because I can't afford to get frustrated. If I get frustrated and take myself out of the game and I get distracted emotionally, guess what we don't do? 10,000 families, $5,000 a month, residual recurring income. Guess who I need? The community, right? So this is where, again, at some point in time, all the stuff that you see, and I want you guys to get it and learn from it. Grant Cardone, huge investment. It's paying off in your lives, right? For those of you who are applying yourself. But it's also adding value to the community that people don't have to pay for. You don't get this in regular network marketing companies or other groups and stuff like that. Millionaire Mindset calls same thing. If you've been impacted by either one of those tremendously, guys, no fluff. Just put some ones in there, something. Raise your hand or something. Show, as a matter of fact, if you have and because I want you guys to get the point in the picture. If you got any benefits that you can articulate it. Because again, this is when you look at the value that we bring, we already know what it's going to do. That's why we do it. We expect it. This is by design. This is not on accident. Okay. It's not on accident. This is on purpose. So the one thing that we're not doing it for is cheer, or praise or anything like that. Okay. Because when you win, that's your way of saying thank you. Okay. And so there you go, Dale. Yeah, $9.5 million pipeline in 4 months. And I know Dale is using everything he's learning right now, basically as a contractor, and that he went scored a huge deal with his old company they used to work for. Now basically they work for him. So that's the thing. Those are the things I get excited about. Those are the things I'm proud of. Those are the things that we do this for. But that's also something that Dale is going to tell somebody one day when the earnings on automation system comes out. He might be a candidate for somebody to be interviewed and say, hey, look, this is what happened when I was in the program. And next thing you know, I got a $10,000 client or a $20,000 client or a $50,000 client based on Dale's testimony. Right? Dale got all the benefits from it. Right? He came in and applied himself, but it was the add-ons, it was the value, it was me being generous, my wife being generous. That's being a part of our brand and what people want to join. That's a part of the process, guys. That is a part of the process. So always provide more value than what people pay when it comes to your service and stuff like that. But you want to learn how to represent yourself. Okay. Because most people misrepresent themselves, their intent, they misrepresent their purpose, their vision, their desire, and they represent all the things that people don't want to associate themselves with. And everything you talk about is what exposes you to people. Okay. So that's huge. Also, act as if no one knows you. Act as if you are invisible, right? And then act as if you're coming up. Say, okay, so what do I need to do when I start from scratch? How do I build this thing out? How do I build my brand out? What do I want people to see about me, respect about me, appreciate about me? What's my strong suit that I can build on top of that can bring me immense value? Because again, when you work on the things that you're strongest at, and you focus on the things that you're strongest at, that's going to bring you the fastest return on the money and the greatest portion of your money. All the other things that you work on is going to secure it. Okay. But act as if your resume right now is empty. Starting from scratch, when we launch what we're going to launch, you're starting from scratch, building a brand new brand. But learn how to create a story from your past resumes so it'll help you build a new portfolio on a new one. And this one will be spectacular. This one will be epic if you do it right. A lot of you guys will find yourself in a place that you only dreamed that you would and hope that you would, and it'll become more of a reality to you. Some of us also have to become more emotionally sophisticated, more emotionally intelligent. As we have to put ourselves in a position where people can rely on us emotionally. Y'all hear me say it a lot, but it's a drip campaign, and it's something I'm gonna always drip on y'all with, because one of my strongest suits is that regardless of what happens, my people not gonna let it. I'm not gonna let my people see it happen to me. I have to be the leader. If I don't believe I'm going to look like it, because you need me to. You have to be the person standing in the gap for your people, like I said, and how you transition and start to make sure that you have people diversifying is going to say a lot about you to other people. And so, again, we're not just going to bring you guys anything. And again, we want to make sure you guys can trust everything that we bring to you guys. That's why we're tabling, one of the companies tonight, and I'm getting with the leaders that was on the call a moment ago. and we're going to have a conversation. So one thing I don't want you guys to have to worry about is a company. I really want you guys to focus most on you, but I have people who are helping me with the vetting processes. So, but work on you. Work on your brand. Work on putting yourself in a position where you can't lose. At some point in time, you have to. If you read more, listen more, speak more, talk more, all this other stuff, apply more. You can't help but become a lot wealthy. You can't help but 10x your income, 100x your income. You can't help but go out there and help other people build, big brands of their own. If you can't build a big brand, you can't help anybody else do it. You can't. So when people hear your name now versus what people, and you give yourself, hey, look, in 12 months, when people hear my name, what will they think in 12 months? Man, used to have a job, or man, used to live in that neighborhood, or man, used to drive that car, or man, used to, whatever it is, man, he used to dress a certain way, or man, he used to carry himself a certain way, or man, he used to talk, talk poor, or now he's or she's talking rich and wealthy. Now, what is the conversation going to be about you when somebody hears your name or think about your name? Is it going to be positive or is it going to be negative? The other thing is just ask yourself what your conversation is going to be about you when you see your name. One thing I've learned, I've grown into my name. I love my name. I love what my name represents. I'm proud of what my name represents. And I can't say I've always been that way. I've never, ever been ashamed of who I am, but I've never been proud of where I was from a standpoint of, where I was in life. And so now, these days, I'm extremely happy. I'm extremely happy that, the way that I've raised myself, going through this process to where my sons have reaped the biggest benefits. I look at my sons and see everything that I've grown to be, right? That's why when a person talks about money, it's not always about money. It's about me making enough money to make sure I'm free, but also make enough people wealthy around me so I never have to worry about going to work again, so I can stay with my sons and my wife, right? And we can travel the world and do the things that we want to do and be okay with it. There's nothing like looking in a mirror, when you look into your sons and your daughters and you're looking at who you've become and that person that you become, you're proud of. Nothing like it. But some of you guys are cheating your kids. Some of you guys are cheating the people who you love because you're not committed to your process of evolution. And they deserve more. Because regardless of what you do, when you do it, you take time away from them. And if you don't come back with results, you don't come back, after giving your best, then you're cheating. You're cheating them all. Not just yourself, but you're cheating them as well. What kind of brand is your sons and daughters inheriting? All right. That's another question for you. What do they have something to live up to, or they have something to be ashamed of, or they have something that nobody would it's neither good or bad. It's off the radar, it's off the grid. It's just, what do you want it to be? What do you want your legacy to be? Because again, at the end of the day, when you aspire, your legacy is going to, again, it's your brand. Your legacy will be your brand. Okay, your legacy will be your brand. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Like I said, I had everything all together because I wanted to do this 2 weeks from now. But let's see here. One of the things I can, and I go back to this, I know Dr. Marika back in the day, somebody who was, again, an introvert back in the day and just wouldn't do anything but go to work and work her business. I remember she was in a mentor program, and they challenged her to go on Facebook and start doing, dancing and speaking and all kind of little challenges and stories and stuff like that. And she started doing that stuff, even though she didn't want to. But I watched it evolve. I watched her evolve during that process, doing things that she was fearful of and uncomfortable with. it takes courage. It's courageous. There's no different than somebody, role playing on Saturday morning. I appreciate you more than you know. You're the person, you help people more than you think you do, more than you know you do. The things that you do on those calls on Saturday mornings, guys, it gives us something to talk about. It gives us something to really elaborate on. And that's when the best trainings are happening. Like this training is cool because it has some bullet points, it has a couple of tips and nuggets in it. But when you are, interacting with people and you're answering questions, or you are making corrections, or you're giving some coaching tips and mentoring tips and pointers, what have you, those are the best trainings. So when you participate, guys, participate on a high level. Don't worry about the quality, worry about the conviction. Don't worry about the quality of it, because you're going to be bad before you're good. You're going to be good before you're great. But be willing to be horrible for a short period of time. Be willing to be bad, be willing to mess up, be willing to stumble, and know that it's recorded on Facebook, 24-hour on demand. It's fine. Trust me. None of y'all will ever be as worse as I was, I promise you. You would have to regress. I'm just telling you, I'm here to give you hope. I'm just because I know how bad I was when it came to speaking and training and just presenting and just having conversations with people, strangers and stuff like that. I didn't want to do any of that stuff, and I was bad at it, but it was like that fear. This is the thing about fear, and we'll wrap up with this. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to have fear. It's just not, you just got to be wise about your fears. You got to be able to weigh your fears. You got to be able to say, okay, am I more scared of speaking to a stranger than I am of working for the rest of my life? Okay. Am I more scared of doing presentations than I am of having my wife work for somebody that don't respect her and she don't respect? Okay. Am I more afraid of, training, or whatever it is, doing all stuff that's stuff that I'm scared of, or having my kids have to be, capped with what I can do for them income wise because I have to go back to work or I have to stay at work. Right. So one fear outweighs the other. Okay. That's why you got to put yourself in a position where what's important to you, what has to happen versus what you're scared of. Like my wife has to be free. She deserves it. My kids have to have a high quality lifestyle. They not necessarily because they demand extravagant things, because they don't, but they have to have a lifestyle to where they never need for anything and they can enjoy their life on a high level, and just if they want to go buy a suit or something, they want to go take a trip or something, they got to have that. Okay. And so the fear of y'all losing money or anything like that, again, that outweighs me going out looking for other companies and being wrong again, or being wrong, period. You know what I'm saying? Just that makes me go out there and do my best, looking for stuff, vetting things for y'all. I don't want to see anybody lose. It's never an intention for anybody to lose. But at the same time, while you're in the game, you got to play to win, guys. It's time for us to get off the bench and get in the game. It's time for us to pick up the bat and swing. All right? Ain't no pinch hitting. Hit your own balls. Run your own bases. All right? Come on home. We'll be waiting on you. So I'll end with that, guys. Again, if you're going to be fearful of the right things. Just know this. This is what we call our extended family. We love you guys. And again, this is a place where we always imagine that we will be building something special with people who are getting financially free, right? And I'm okay with the challenges because, again, you grow stronger in them, you learn from them, and you become more valuable to society when you do that. But just know this, there's not one thing that we wouldn't do, okay, that we have in our power for it to be done, to make sure you guys, would be successful. You got to be successful. That's for us. We're going to do our part. Y'all just do y'all. So we appreciate y'all. We'll definitely be in contact with you guys again. For the leaders, I'm going to put the link. Most of you guys already have it. If you have a leadership link for Zoom, go ahead and drop it in the chat for me, Carla, or anybody who may have it. But We'll be in touch with you guys, soon. Like I said, the 15th is when they said there'll be an update, but they said also maybe one sooner because they're trying to do it before one of the big events in one of the countries that they're going to right now. So, but keep your ears, open, but make sure you keep your brand growing. Make sure we go out here and create some very valuable brands, guys, by becoming very valuable people. All right. So y'all take care. See you guys at the top. See you guys at the bank. See you guys at the beach, and hopefully we see all y'all on the yacht, on the cruise ship in July on the 25th. Take care.
Recording.